All right, looks like I'm live. What's going on, Military Cashflow family? This is my first time going live, and I put out on some of my social media that, hey, I'm going to give you guys a video on how this eviction moratorium is affecting my rentals and what I plan to do if it passes and what I plan to do if it doesn't pass, right? So if you guys have been listening to the news, you just heard President Trump talk, and he went over, he essentially said he's not going to pass the bill as is. So Congress has passed, but President Trump is saying that there's a lot of essentially junk, a lot of fat in there that he wants to cut out, that he won't approve until that is cut out. And then also the individual stimulus bill is pushed from $600 a person to $2,000 a person. But they didn't really talk too much about the eviction moratorium piece. So I'm assuming that's going to stay in regardless of what route they go, right? So how this is affecting my portfolio, man, this is it's got me on, it's kind of got me really paying attention to the news and seeing what's going to happen with this. Because as you guys know, currently with the eviction moratorium, landlords cannot evict, can't evict any tenants right now. Now, and it will expire on December the 31st. So December 31st ends. And then after that, there's probably going to be a wave of evictions going across the US, affecting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of individuals who rent and possibly can't afford rent. And, they need those. That moratorium is really the only thing that's keeping them in place, right? So us as landlords, like, I asked the question, what are you guys doing if it passes? What if it doesn't pass? Because I don't know about you guys, but it's definitely affecting me. I have a few tenants right now that, I have about 4 tenants that are still paying. There no issues with them, and then I have 4 other tenants that there are some issues. Some are working with us. They're talking with the property managers. They're doing a really good job of staying in contact with us. They filled out forms. They're trying to pay whatever they can, and we're working with them. Like my property managers are working with them on a one-on-one basis and making sure that that obviously no landlord just wants to just straight up kick someone out. I mean, we understand the times, and we're not ruthless. You know what I mean? Most of us aren't. So we definitely understand the times are what's happening right now, but at the same time, we don't really want to tolerate those individuals that are kind of taking advantage of the system. And it's not really hard to tell who that is. If you're watching this, comment below if you know someone, or a few people that might be kind of just taking advantage of the system, collecting that unemployment, not really looking for jobs, just kind of hanging out, if you will. So how it is, or what I plan to do if the stimulus bill does pass, right? So if it passes and the eviction moratorium lasts out, I think it's to January the 31st is what it's being pushed out to with the approval of this bill. We're just going to kind of wait it out another month, as it kind of sucks. Luckily, right now I don't have, I'm not over leveraged on anything. And I need about, I really just need half of my tenants paying rent in order to pay the mortgage off, right? So I'm not really cash flowing on anything right now. But I'm cash flowing a little bit, but for the most part, I'm not cash flowing like a significant amount. So I'm like, I haven't really had to come out of pocket with anything yet. But I think as this pushes forward, as this lasts longer, and more tenants decide not to pay rent, or maybe they fall on even harder times, then it's going to be a struggle. Luckily, I have some reserves. I have enough reserves. I haven't really touched any of my income over the last like 5 years, and that's just been stacking up. So I have reserves to last for a while, so that's good. But I mean, we don't buy real estate to lose money, and we understand the times. But at the same time, we don't buy real estate to lose money, right? So it's going to get tougher as time passes, and as those reserves start to dwindle a little bit. So we'll see. I mean, if it passes, we're just, like I say, we're just going to kind of wait it out, and once the moratorium ends, then we're going to be continuing to work with the tenants that we do have that have been working with us, and then the few tenants that have not been working or have not really been doing anything, haven't been in communication, not doing anything at all, then we're going to be looking to get rid of those tenants. And all honesty, I only have one that I know of that we would like to get rid of, just because they're not really they're not being a very good tenant, So and if you're a landlord, I'm sure you've run into those tenants at some point. Luckily, I don't deal with them on a personal level. Everything works through my property management, and they're doing a phenomenal job keeping up with my tenants and making sure my assets are protected. They're just doing a really, really good job, and I love that. Right. So went over what I'm going to do if it doesn't pass. Now, if it passes, yeah, like I said, I'm going to be just looking for I'm going to be looking to evict one tenant, and that's pretty much it. Now, a couple of people might be in worse situations than I am. There might be some people out there that are like really, really over leveraged, right? And if you're really over leveraged, man, the only tip that I can think to give you is to try to get rid of those tenants, at least that might be causing you grief, and putting a better tenant in, right? Is to ask for or offer cash for keys, right? So some of the tenants, they realize that they're, some of those tenants realize that they're not doing the right thing. They have no intent of paying any of the rent, and even after the moratorium ends and they're supposed to pay all that back rent, they're likely not going to pay it. Right? They know for a fact they're like $3,000, $4,000 in the hole. You're not seeing that money. Yeah, just just being realistic, you're not going to see that money. So what you can do is you can possibly offer cash for keys, and I've had someone comment on one of our social media posts, because I asked the question, hey, what are you guys doing, right? And someone commented that they did cash for keys, and then they also helped paid the first month's rent for the place that the person moved into. So basically they helped them find a new place, paid the first month mortgage, and then they got their that unit back, right? So hopefully anybody that is in that situation, that is dealing with the crap tenant that's not really trying to do anything, if they can offer the cash for keys, hopefully the next tenant, you can vet them. You go through a little bit more of an extraneous vetting process with them, making sure they can actually they have reserves, or they have the right amount of income to actually pay rent on time. Or maybe I've heard some people saying they're going to do 6 months up front, like large months, a couple months in advance, and things like that, to help offset some of the potential risk, or mitigate some of that risk. So those are just some options, man. Comment below if you're feeling the same thing. Again, I'm live, so this is all like unscripted. I'm just kind of rambling, but yeah, man, comment below if you're dealing with the same issues, or you're experiencing some of those issues, and how have you dealt with those, or what have you been doing to mitigate that and be successful. Let's help each other out, and landlords unite type thing. So I know in the media, and I hear a lot of people when I talk to in certain circles about, like, hey, the landlords are kind of sucking. They're like, oh, what about those guys are rich and they have all these properties, they deserve it because they took advantage of the triple triple P freaking the business loans that went out, right? So they're like, oh yeah, they took advantage of that. But they don't know that, like, these most property man, or most landlords are just like me and you, man. Like, we're just regular people, dude. Like, we're trying to make a living as well, so so we're not like big corporations, so yeah, just comment below, let us know what you guys are doing, and what your thoughts are, and what you're doing to mitigate those risks, and help each other out, right? So but yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to make a quick video, give you guys I guess a rundown of what I'm doing and how it's affecting my cash flow. Like I said, it's affecting. I'm definitely not cash flowing a lot right now. But luckily, I do have enough tenants that are good, that are paying rent on time and being able to pay the mortgage off. And then I have some reserves as well. So I'm not like stressing right now, but it can get to that point, So I think if this hasn't taught us anything as landlords, that this whole process, just try to mitigate your risk as much as possible. So my business partner, Mike Glaspie, he has, you can diversify within real estate itself, right? So he does Airbnbs, which, those are short-term rentals, 1 day, 1 week. That's an easy way to diversify your risk, because right now the guys that are being hit the hardest are the guys that have long-term rentals, right? Those guys we are the ones that are being hit the hardest, the ones with the long-term rentals. But if you got short-term rentals, those guys, apparently the Airbnb market right now is on fire, even amidst COVID. And I did not expect that at all. But apparently, they're doing very, very well, and they're not too concerned with COVID mitigations. It's they've been steady through COVID. So that's amazing. That's one way to diversify. That might be something that you want to think about. If you got a tenant that gets out, maybe, use one of those units to literally just to use it as an Airbnb, if your market supports that, right? So that might be an option to diversify. There's also other asset classes within real estate to invest in as well. So if you are like, I just saved X amount of money to buy my first property, well, maybe instead of buying a long-term rental, maybe do some storage units, or because that's an asset class, commercial real estate. There's different asset classes you can diversify and possibly mitigate some of these risks until all this COVID stuff dies down, and we can get the eviction moratorium ends, and the stimulus packet does pass. Maybe hopefully Americans get a little bit more money, and we can get this stuff situated. So yeah, man, I rambled on long enough. This is my first live, so forgive me. It's not very we usually don't do too much scripted, but I didn't really give it a process. I was like, this is live. Let me just go ahead and click the live button, and here we are. So if you found any kind of value out of this, please do me a favor, like and subscribe. Comment below with what you're doing to mitigate your risks, right? Comment below with what you're going to do if the bill passes. I think President Trump has until the 28th to make a decision to pass, or for Congress to come back with changes to the bill that he can pass, right? Comment below with what you're going to do if it passes, and comment below what you're going to do if it doesn't pass. Let me know. I'd love to hear. And if you have any questions, let us know. Type that down below as well. Also, reach out to us on militarycashflow.com. Go to militarycashflow.com. We have a Facebook group. It's about like 1,800 service members helping each other build wealth and grow cash flow through real estate, right? So we have courses and things like that. So yeah, go check that out at militarycashflow.com. And again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and shout out to everybody, are the 4 people that are on right now. So thanks a lot for listening to me ramble these past 13 minutes. And yeah, all right, this is Dan Wynn signing off.